Today I will be talking about an amazing woman named Helen Keller. My three main points are as follow. My first main point will be talking about Helen Keller's struggles in her childhood years due to her disability. Secondly, I will talk about Helen Keller and how she was able to overcome her disabilities. And finally, I will talk about a few of Helen Keller's accomplishments as an adult. Now that I have discussed my three main points, I will talk about my first main point. Helen Keller was 19 months when she got a really high fever that left her alive, but she was not able to hear, see, or speak. In the LA Times newspaper article, it talks about what a proper little girl Helen Keller was prior to the illness. She would listen to her parents, she was able to sit at a table and eat properly. But after the illness, all of that changed, and she was a very conflicted little girl with anger issues. She would not sit at the table. She would throw her food and throw tantrums. Her parents felt so sorry that they didn't know what to do. At this point, all of her life and everyone else's life around her had changed completely. She could no longer go to a regular school and just do the simple things kids do, which is play with each other and run. Now that I have covered my first main point, I would like to talk about my second main point, which talks about how Helen Keller was able to overcome her disabilities. Helen Keller was a smart little girl, despite of her disabilities. Her parents hired a teacher for special needs kids, and Helen was able to learn the finger alphabet. She would need to use her hands to learn the letters, and through touch and this wonderful teacher, Helen Keller was able to little by little come out of the darkness which she was left in after the illness. She was able to determine where she was by smells. She knew when she was at the park because she loved to smell the flowers and nature. She also knew when her friends were over because she smelled the tobacco. Now that I have finished with my second main point, I would like to move on to my final point, which talks about some of her accomplishments as an adult. Helen Keller was a very accomplished woman. Her disabilities did not stop her from succeeding and going all of the way. One of the books that she wrote in her adult year was My Religion. This book talked about a Christianity sect. Helen Keller was also involved with the Association of the Blind and went all over the world to motivate and speak to people and be a living testimony. She would also get donations for her Helen Keller endowment. In conclusion, I have talked about an admirable woman that was able to teach the world to respect the blind and the deaf by her accomplishment. Having faced all of these disabilities herself and being able to succeed like she did, Helen Keller was a fighter and has made a huge difference in the education of the physical handicap and very successful. With it, I hope that the story has inspired you and never give up on your dreams, because where there is a will, there is a way.